Missing someone doesn't always mean they were good for you. In fact, some of the strongest emotional attachment happens with people who were inconsistent, controlling, or even emotionally damaging. This is one of the most confusing parts of toxic relationships. Your mind knows it hurt, but your emotions still feel attached. Today we will talk about why you miss someone who was destroying you. So before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. 10. Emotional withdrawal feels like loss of identity. When you leave someone who was emotionally intense or toxic, it can feel like you are not just losing a person, but losing part of your daily identity. Because over time, your mind builds a routine around them. You wake up thinking about them, you check your phone hoping for a message, you replay conversations, and you emotionally prepare yourself for their mood. Slowly, they become part of your mental system, so when they are gone, the silence feels unnatural. Your brain suddenly has no direction, no emotional focus, and no familiar pattern to follow. That emptiness can feel like missing the person. But in reality, it is your mind adjusting to the absence of constant emotional stimulation. This is why the first stage after leaving often feels confusing, not peaceful. 9. Intermittent affection creates addiction. One of the strongest reasons you miss someone who hurt you is inconsistency. When love is unpredictable, sometimes warm, sometimes cold, it creates a powerful emotional loop in your brain. You never know when you will receive attention, affection, or care again, so your mind starts waiting for it. And that waiting turns into attachment. You don't just remember the good moments, you start chasing them. You begin hoping the loving version of them will return, even if that version was never stable in the first place. This pattern is similar to how addiction works. The brain becomes more focused on getting the reward again than on the pain it caused. So instead of seeing the full relationship clearly, your emotions get stuck on small moments of affection that felt powerful in comparison to the distance or pain. 8. Trauma bonding creates deep attachment. In toxic relationships, pain and affection often repeat in cycles. There are arguments, emotional distance, apologies, reconciliation, and then closeness again. Over time, this cycle becomes emotionally addictive because your nervous system connects stress with relief. This is called trauma bonding. What makes it powerful is the contrast. After emotional pain, even a small moment of affection feels extremely intense. That contrast tricks your brain into believing the connection is deep or special. But in reality, it is your nervous system reacting to relief after stress. That is why leaving a trauma bond can feel like withdrawal. Your body is not just missing a person, it is missing the emotional cycle it became used to. 7. Intensity feels like love. Many toxic relationships are not calm, they are intense. There are strong emotions, emotional highs, deep conversations, arguments that feel passionate, and moments that feel unforgettable. Because of this intensity, your brain starts linking emotional chaos with emotional love. So when the relationship ends, normal life feels too quiet. No highs, no lows, no emotional spikes, just calm. And your mind can interpret that calm as emptiness. But the truth is, peace feels unfamiliar, because your system was trained on emotional intensity, not stability. You are not missing love, you are missing the emotional rush your body got used to. 6. You miss the potential, not the reality. One of the biggest emotional traps is not missing the real person, but missing the version you hoped they would become. You remember the early days, the promises, the apologies, and the moments when everything felt perfect. You imagine what the relationship could have been if things had stayed that way. But that version was based on potential, not consistency. So your mind keeps replaying an ideal version of the relationship that never fully existed long-term. This creates emotional conflict because your heart is attached to hope, while reality tells a different story. Letting go of potential is often harder than letting go of reality. 5. Your brain filters out painful memories. With time and distance, your brain naturally changes how it stores memories. Painful experiences slowly lose emotional intensity, while meaningful or happy moments feel clearer. This is not intentional. It is how memory works to protect you from constant emotional overload. But in relationships like this, it creates a distortion. The good moments start feeling bigger than they were, and the painful moments start feeling smaller than they actually were. So the relationship begins to look better in memory than it was in real life. This is one of the main reasons people suddenly miss someone more after time has passed. Your brain is not showing you the full picture anymore, only selected highlights. 4. Loneliness feels stronger after leaving. After leaving, silence becomes very loud. Even if the relationship was painful, it still filled your emotional space. There was always something to think about, react to, or emotionally process. Now that it is gone, the absence feels heavy. But this loneliness is often misunderstood. You are not necessarily missing the person. You are adjusting to the absence of emotional chaos, attention, and connection. Your mind was used to constant stimulation, so calmness feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar emotions are often mistaken for emotional loss. 3. Emotional dependency was already built. Over time, toxic relationships often create emotional dependency. You start depending on the other person for validation, attention, reassurance, or emotional stability. Even small things like their messages or reactions can start affecting your mood. So when they leave, your brain reacts like something essential is missing. It goes into a kind of emotional withdrawal state, searching for the source of comfort it was trained to rely on. This is not weakness. It is conditioning. Your emotional system learned to depend on something external, and now it needs time to reset. 2. Hope keeps you attached. Even after everything that happened, hope becomes one of the strongest emotional forces holding you in place. You start remembering the good moments more clearly than the bad ones. The apologies, the promises, the emotional conversations, and those rare times when things actually felt like they were improving. And because of that, a part of you still believes that maybe things could become better again. That belief creates attachment, even when the situation is no longer healthy or stable. At this point, you are not just holding on to what happened in the past, you are holding on to the idea of what could still happen in the future. You imagine a better version of the relationship, a better version of the person, and a better ending than what actually exists right now. And that imagined future can feel more powerful than the real experience you went through. But the truth is, hope without real and consistent change does not lead to healing. It only delays it, keeping you emotionally stuck between what you want and what is actually real. 1. Your brain is still healing, not forgetting. The biggest reason you still miss someone who hurt you or made you feel unstable is actually very simple. Your brain is not forgetting them. It is still healing from the connection. Emotional bonds are not something the mind deletes instantly. They are formed through repetition, emotional intensity, attachment, and shared experiences. So when that bond breaks, it does not disappear right away. It takes time, distance, and emotional reset for your system to adjust. What do you think about our video? Let me know in the comments below. Before you go, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.